All right, I got a giant box from Criterion. What's in this? Let's find out coming up next. I've been influenced by the Amoeba Records What's in My Bag videos. A bunch of people going into a music store, picking out vinyl and cassette and musical stuff. They're in the know, so they let me, a music lover, but I don't know that much about music, in on some things I never heard of. So I'm very influenced by those. I thought maybe I should just do a What's in My Box video, because I made an order from Criterion. They had a 50% off deal recently, and you know, I need to buy things for the channel, videos and study material and such. So I figured maybe you want to see what's in this. I forget. It's been over a week or more, so I don't even remember. Very exciting to find out. Let's see. So here we go. Robert Brasson's Largent. This is a movie about money and made in the 1980s. Isn't this one of his last movies? Maybe his last movie. Very cold, abstract film. Several exchanges, several different people exchanging money, and then a plot that really sort of unfolds, but you got to pay close attention to obviously all Brasson's movies. What is he saying about money in this movie, money in society? I mean, I think this movie is quite interesting and quite good, but it requires some unpacking and analysis, so surely I've got to do a video on this. It's not easy to watch, but you got to, because you have to pay close attention, but highly recommended. Largent. Okay, so I don't blind buy very much, but when I do it for good reasons. I love Dragon Inn by King Hu. I hope that's how to pronounce his name. From China, the wuxia movies, 1960s and 70s. This is made 4 years after Dragon Inn, which I recommend highly. You know, highly influenced Quentin Tarantino, for example. Some great film grammar material, action sequences in Dragon Inn. Now, I'm hoping that this one, A Touch of Zen, is pretty similar. I love the cover. I think it's a good cover. There you can see it. And hopefully it's more of the same sort of things, maybe a different kind of tale like Dragon Inn. But check these out if you like action movies, because they're stylized and interesting and, you know, highly influential with Tarantino and The Matrix, and pretty much anything kung fu after this, or anything with martial arts, I would think, is based on these kinds of movies. Okay, so this movie is highly influential as well. In my film class, I showed The Purple Rose of Cairo, which I believe quotes this pretty liberally. If I remember correctly, Christopher Nolan quotes it in Inception, but a lot of movies do, or this is about movement and dance, obviously. Now, there's a plot here, but to me, film is so much about the way bodies move on screen. And in my film class, I ended up talking about action movies and them being choreographed dances. I had to compare it with something like this and classic Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers movie that deserves watching many times because it's just fun and delightful. And that's how Woody Allen's The Purple Rose of Cairo, one of my favorite movies ever, you know, uses this movie as an escape, an entertainment, a delight. And so this movie deserves to be watched just for the fun of it. All right, another blind buy. I like Francis Ford Coppola, as everybody does, but I think his 1980s output, after The Apocalypse Now, it's pretty good. I actually like Godfather Part 3 somewhat, better than most people, I think. And up through that point, you know, he was making good to decent movies. This one I saw in the Criterion Collection, Rumblefish. I'm not entirely sure what this is about. Is this about disaffected youth from 1983? So this ought to be pretty interesting. Francis Ford Coppola, he's not too far from Apocalypse Now, so I'm wondering what the connections are between this and that. Okay, I like Jean-Luc Godard for his film grammar, for high style and interest in entertainment. Some of his plots and political ideas, well, he doesn't have plots. What am I talking about? But his political ideals, some of his movies are too goofy sometimes for me. Weekend, One to Try from 1967. I should do a video on which Godard movies I recommend trying, but they're all sort of not the same, but they're different flavors of the similar kind of postmodernistic French New Wave take on what movies should be and become. So this one's worth trying, but you may hate it. I'd still say keep going with Godard and try 5 of his movies from the 1960s. If you hate them all, you'll probably hate Godard, period. But I'm sort of in and out, half and half on Godard's movies from this period. So this one, watch it. Okay, Here's an Antonioni movie, Red Desert. Very intriguing. I love deserts, period. Now, this isn't about a desert. It's a woman wandering on a factory landscape. That's part of it in Italy. Classic Antonioni alienation movie featuring a female. And I've quoted this movie on the channel several times. I need to watch it again and do a video on it. But here he's going to go to, I think, Blow Up next after this movie. I think this is 1964. And so, is this his last Italian movie? It may be. Or movie set in Italy. I forget. But quite good. I think this is better than his other stuff before it. At least I prefer it. Let's put it that way. Not necessarily better, but I prefer it. Okay, and so this one, I'm a science fiction nut. And this one I need to watch again for the sound design. In particular, David Lynch's first movie. Just did a video on The Elephant Man. Go check that out. The very interesting overlaps between The Elephant Man and this. What are they? That's definitely worth exploring because he did those movies back to back. But obviously everyone loves this movie or thinks this is so weird it's worth watching. Quoted all over the place. Awesome haircut. I wish I had hair like that, but that'll never happen. So, okay, in this movie I saw in my German class in college in 1998. It's been 20 years since I've seen this movie. I noticed in Criterion Collection, I remember kind of liking it. Why my German teacher showed us movies. She showed us Das Boot, this. Did she show Amelie? That can't be. That was in French. I forget what else, but classic German movies from the last 50 years. And this one I recall being quite good, but I want to see it again in my older age here, middle-aged guy point of view, and see if this is just another Nazi Holocaust movie or if there's more to it. This is made by a Polish female director, I believe, so that intrigues me quite a bit. I'm interested in rewatching Europa. Okay, and then I'm going to do, at some point, a Hitchcock series on this channel. I haven't seen this movie. I think Hitchcock remade it, didn't he, in the 1950s with Jimmy Stewart? Am I right about that? Well, this one, if I'm right, this is the original with Peter Lorre from the 1930s, an early sound movie, The Man Who Knew Too Much. And this can't be anything but great because it's Hitchcock with Peter Lorre. You can't go wrong with Peter Lorre. In my opinion, one of the most interesting actors ever just in terms of his face and his voice. So try this one out and let me know what you think. All right, and then, another weird movie from the 1930s. A colleague mentioned this to me, and I hadn't seen it, but I am a sucker for Forgotten Island, Forbidden Island movies. This is based on The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells, who I think was still alive. This is 1932. Not a silent movie, but almost, of that era, just getting into the talkie era. Pre-Hollywood Code movie. So it has illicit scenes in it or weird things in it. I'm not sure. And so that obviously is intriguing. And how they would have adapted Island of Dr. Moreau, which has been tried many times. I'm very curious about this and what's in it. So maybe do a video on this for the channel. And then because I'm stupid, I clicked a button twice, so I ordered 2 copies of these. I'm going to be sending this back. I almost never do this as order 2 instead of 1, but I got 2 of these, so there's no need to keep these, so I'm getting rid of them. That was in my box. What do you think about these movies? What do you suggest I do with them? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.